And here we go. Daily Autism radio show from dailyautism.com. It's Mark and Melissa. We're husband and wife. We have 5 kids. Our youngest son, Cal, is autistic. He is 6. I guess we got to get used to saying almost 7.
Yep. Almost 7.
Coming up at the end of July. 7 years,
and
man.
That's 4 years into an autism diagnosis.
Yeah, he was diagnosed just at his 3rd birthday?
In August, yeah.
Yeah, so it was basically happy birthday, and then a couple weeks later, got the autism diagnosis. So, as they always say, it flies by, and it does. But I think with autism, the thing is, it's interesting. I remember more of his life than his younger life than the other kids. There's definitely more standout moments.
I feel like because we're always right there, like we're in his face nonstop, holding his hand and helping him along the way.
Yeah, there's just because I think the milestones when you hit them, and like some of the benchmarks, they mean more because you're not sure if they would ever happen. And so when they do happen, you're like, wow.
I know.
Like trying new foods. To our other kids, I'm like, I don't remember when they tried this, when they tried that. But when he does it, it's like, whoa, learning to swim. The other kids, it's just part of the natural progression, right? But
I don't think I remember a lot of the kids doing any of that stuff.
No,
because they just learned it naturally, especially a new food. I mean, and that's just something that everyone just eats,
You have an expectation, right, that you're going to grow and you're going to get these, you're going to hit these milestones, hit these benchmarks. And then when they don't happen and they actually regress, things go backwards, you're like, will they ever come back? Will we ever, climb those mountains again? And then, so it's just interesting. Your memory or your brain, I guess, doesn't let those things go because I guess I don't know. I mean, I'm making this up, but I think your brain realizes like this means a lot because you weren't sure if it was ever going to happen.
It is
like him
true.
Swimming. I literally remember the first time the swim teacher let him go. And I'm like, if something happens, I can be there in 1.6 seconds.
You were about to have a heart attack.
I was about to have a heart attack.
You were like, is this really happening?
Well, that's why I could be there at 1.6 seconds. When you're under that amount of stress and everything, your body's going to peak perform. You know what I mean? You're going to go places. You're going to make your body go places that you didn't think you could do.
Yeah, so that was last summer when that happened. And this summer, he's been swimming without a floaty nonstop.
Yeah.
We will put a floaty on just so he can rest, and definitely if we're at the beach, but he's swimming without a floaty.
When he gets tired, he'll even ask for it or he'll go get the floaty, which I think, to me, that's more exciting than the swimming without the floaty because he's realizing, I just want to float and relax.
Right.
So that actually means more. It's crazy how you find little things to center on, and it's like, I appreciate this part of it. It's cool.
Well, and it's true, the milestones. I mean, he's turning 7, but we're still at a toddler stage with milestones.
Yes, yeah. Well, part of this too, and we don't talk about this enough, just because I don't know. I mean, I feel like autism is more understood, but he also has global developmental delay, which you can have that without autism.
Right.
You can just be a child, a baby that has global developmental delay, which just basically means that, your brain is working at a level much younger than what you are physically.
Right.
Your body. So. And
I never even started really thinking about global developmental delay because I was so focused on autism until this last year.
Same thing. I mean, I think the one word is like, boom, autism, because you hear it on like the news. It's somehow, some way, it's somewhat political now. There's a lot of controversy out. It's crazy how that's all come to be. But then you hear global developmental delay, and it's like, I've never heard of that before, ever. And
people don't talk about it.
No, and I feel like when I tell people that, they're like, then they kind of lean in. They're like, what's that? Autism, they sort of get. But then you add that in, and they're like, what's that? So, and he's like half his age or so.
Yeah.
Developmentally with the brain, and so you add that in with autism, and he also has self-injuring behavior. So it's and there's a lot of kids where the parents will talk about, oh, my child's autistic, but then there's like 3 or 4 other diagnoses, and they just don't talk about it because they probably figure like I figure. Nobody wants to go down the whole list of the words.
Well, that's why if someone's just autistic, it's like they just have autism. I mean, it's very different. And that's why like every child or person with autism is so different because many have multiple diagnoses.
I'll actually tell people this who, we have a lot of parents, younger parents listening, which is awesome. But I'll say that you told me the day that he got the official diagnosis about the global developmental delay. Somehow I erased it from my brain. And 6 months later, you were talking about his global developmental delay. And I was like, what are you talking about? And you're like, yeah, he has global developmental delay. He's only, I think at that point, he was like maybe almost getting to 4, 3.5. You're like, he's not even 2 yet. And I'm like, what? You're like, I told you all this today. And I was like, oh, I think I heard the autism. And I was like,
But now it's like obvious.
No, I know.
And I was told that he'll never be his true age, and I really never believed it until now, because we're still at a toddler stage.
Yeah, I think you can kind of shorten the gap. At least the research I've done on it, it'll never truly be, hey, you're 20 and you're 20. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that. And it's interesting. Like our oldest daughter, Charlie, she has global developmental. I don't know what the opposite of delay would be, like future.
Like progression or something.
Yeah, because she's 13, but she's really more like 20, at least, when it comes to like school and stuff like that. Like,
oh my gosh, she's amazing.
Gets it. You know what I mean? Like she just gets it. So it's funny how it all works. But I say that for other parents because I guess for a minute I felt a little guilty. Like I was kind of figuring out global developmental delay. You're like, I told you all of this the day of the diagnosis. And I was like, oh, I went numb with the autism. I just heard that and I was like, okay. And I remember you telling me that. And I'm like, he also has global developmental delay?
You probably don't even know this, but in his paperwork, he also has a speech diagnosis.
Just learning that now. Yeah.
I just don't talk about it because it's just, I mean, obviously he's behind in speech because of the delay.
It's not
and
often
part of like autism, like it usually starts with a speech delay, but he was actually diagnosed with something that says speech.
Wow. Yeah, see, we do this podcast to help and radio show to help other people, and then I'm learning things in real time as we do the broadcast. It's pretty incredible. By the way, all right, let's go. DailyAutism.com is how you connect with us. All of our social media sites, LinkedIn, our LinkedIn newsletter, which is exploding. It's awesome. Love that platform. But Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of our podcasts are there across iHeart, Spotify, Pandora, you name it, they're all there. Apple, obviously. And again, you can grab our email there and our text line. You can also go to autismtext.com, which we are growing that quickly. I don't think fastly is a word. I heard somebody say that. I was on a plane this past week, and somebody said fastly. They were talking about the plane, and I'm like, it doesn't sound right, but I kind of like it. So
what are they trying to say? Like very fast?
Very fast. You're going fast. We're going fastly.
Oh, my.
We're quickly growing the Autism text platform. It's just cool to be able to connect via text. And I love social media and radio and podcasts. But, with the text, it's like there's no algorithm. There's no third-party control. You can take a message out. You can get it out there. People can respond. You can share, real-time, cool, relevant information to other autism parents. Fastly. You watch, you're going to say it again. Because it's been in my mind the whole time. I was like, I know I'm going to say this word, and I just said it.
Oh, my.
Yeah, quickly. We're growing it quickly. Autismtext.com is how you sign up for that. And we'd love to see you across our social media sites. Also, subscribe to the podcast, whatever platform you listen to podcast. That's also that's helpful on both ends. It helps us amplify the messages. And it gives you notifications of when we do new podcasts multiple times a week. We're years into the podcast. We're getting closer to 200 episodes, so it's been really cool. Appreciate everybody listening and giving feedback and commenting. A lot of people, and I get it, like they'll start a podcast and they do like 4 or 5 episodes and it ends. And it's sad, because I tell you, like so many people have great things to say and they just stop.
I remember when we started our first one.
Yeah.
And I was like afraid of a microphone for whatever reason.
I think that's common with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been doing it your whole life.
Well, I think that's common with people. I used to, when I started out in radio, because I was on the radio for 20-something years, and my first, being on the air was like, overnight. So it was like, midnight to like 5 a.m. I used to bring in like a little stuffed animal, and I would pretend I was talking to it. It made it feel, okay, I can talk to this stuffed animal. And you had to forget that all these people were listening. You know what I mean?
That's funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's how you do it. I always tell people that too. I was like, first time on the air, that's what you do.
What kind of stuffed animal?
There was like 3 or 4 different. There was actually one in the radio station. It was some kind of a dog that I would use, and then I did bring something from somewhere else, maybe like an elephant or something.
So that's like a normal thing? It was just in the radio station?
Well, I don't think it's normal, but it worked for me. No, they don't have it there for that. I think it was maybe a prize or something. I was like, I'll just put this in the chair, and I would put the mic up to the stuffed animal's mouth. And so it was like we were doing a show, but I wasn't, I was talking
How funny.
Yeah. It's whatever you can do, you
right.
know? But I said it's easy. It's a lot less stressful if you just look and say, I'm talking to this animal, the stuffed animal, not thinking about all these people listening. That's stressful.
Yeah. What do they say, like, when you're on stage? Like, think the audience is...
naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird.
No, because you have your clothes on, and so they're the ones that should be nervous, not you.
Oh, okay.
You're dressed.
I get it.
Yeah. Just pretend that everyone's naked. But every audience I've been in front, I've looked at it and I said, I don't want to pretend any of these people are naked. None of them. That was not good for me.
That's funny.
I didn't like that. All right, so dailyautism.com, we got off on that tangent, is how we can connect. Thank you for sharing this, with other parents of autism. Then, of course, there are the entrepreneurs, the businesses that serve the families of autism. And so we appreciate you sharing with them as well. Also, highlight some of our partners as we go across the content during this show. Dr. John Young from the Young Foundational Health Center, Largo, Florida. Actually, in a couple of weeks, Dr. Young is going to be back with us. He's already shared some great information. Link right to his site from dailyautism.com. You can see the Young Foundational Health button, but he shared some awesome information. He's done great research on autism, and he's doing a lot of great content too. So we've posted a ton of stuff on our Instagram, but link to his center. We've talked about iron. I mean, we've talked about vitamin D. We've talked about certain proteins. I mean, really fascinating information. Talked about, how to get some of that protein with some of the shakes that they have. But his insight, his research is really cool. So really looking forward to having him on again, which we'll do here in a couple of weeks. Again, it's Dr. John Young from the Young Foundational Health Center. Link right to his site from dailyautism.com. Also, my friend and CEO of Technology North, Ling Huang. Ling has built Technology North, and what he started, it was, hey, let's find young adults on the spectrum who are ready to have a purpose in employment. There's not a big opportunity for that. And that's the one thing that's interesting. We were talking about Cal. I think we all assume, these kids will stay little kids. They grow just like anybody else. They're going to grow, right?
Yep.
And so they're going to hit an age where it's like, you want them to have some meaningful work, some responsibilities that they can understand and achieve, and then eventually excel. That's what Ling has done with Technology North. You can go to technologynorth.net. Also, you can hear multiple podcasts that we've had Ling on. Hope to have him on again soon. He's been very busy growing the footprint of Technology North as they expand into other sectors. But he has created a workforce of young adults on the spectrum, and it is awesome what he's doing, how he's growing it, and his future vision of what he's going to do for these families. I can just tell you without going too much into it, it makes me hopeful to see and hear what Ling is working on. So really cool. All the fears I have for Cal and that you have for Cal and all these other parents have for their kids, what's life going to look like when we're gone? Or when we're just at an age where we can't do anything anymore,
Right.
Ling's working on that stuff. So it's awesome. And again, I would invite you to go watch Cliff 20 on YouTube. It's free. It's 25 minutes. It's awesome. Cliff 20, short documentary on YouTube about Ling and what he's built. So very cool. Technologynorth.net. All right. So we are post 4th of July as the summer is just racing by. I mean, it's raging like a wildfire.
It really is. The kids are going to be back in school, very fast.
I told them the other day, I said, we are weeks away from school. And one of them walked away and said, please shut up, as they stormed off. They were so depressed about it.
Oh, my gosh.
It is funny, though. You get to a certain point, as happy as I am to be done with school and the car lines and stuff, now I'm sort of like, yeah, they can go back. I'm fine to go back. Go ahead and go back. You know what I mean?
Well, Cal's ready for school.
He is.
He likes routine.
He's very routine based. We drive by his school sometimes, to go to random places, the kids' sports, whatever. And then he'll go, "That's my school. I want to go now." And I'm like, "Oh, it's closed. I'm sorry. It's closed."
Yeah, and he only goes a couple days a week, but he likes it.
Yeah, he's not full-time student, but he likes his schedule, his system. He's learned to like it. This has been honestly a massive process.
It really
This was
has.
not easy. I mean, yeah.
And I say he likes it, but as soon as he starts, that's a new, it's getting back into routine, and then it's a nightmare for a couple weeks.
You can nearly guarantee he'll say, "I don't want to go to school. No school, no school," for a period of time, and then we'll get over it. And then once he's back in love with it, it'll be holiday break for 2.5 weeks.
And then we do it all
over again. So,
and one thing that really happens to him when his routine gets changed or back into routine is his pica gets extremely worse. And pica means like when you eat non-edible things. So he will pick the wall and like pick the paint off the wall, put anything and everything in his mouth.
We were in the pool yesterday and he went for leaves. Leaves fell off this tree and he started rubbing the leaf in his mouth. And yeah, that's pica. And the dangerous thing, obviously, about pica is you're exposing your body to just gross things. And the other issue is choking. Sometimes you fill your mouth. It's not just putting non-edible things. It's stuffing with those non-edible things.
Yeah, I gave him steamed broccoli yesterday, and he grabbed the whole handful and shoved it in his mouth.
Yeah, that texture of the broccoli. He sometimes he'll take the head of broccoli after you steam it, and he'll squeeze it. It's got that, I guess, kind of similar to Play-Doh. He loves
like
Play-Doh. Squishy. Yeah. So, and then he's shoving it in his mouth. And obviously there's tons of choking concerns. Honestly, with every bite he takes, my heart and my blood pressure, it's dangerous. I mean, it's just so dangerous. It's things like that, we try to explain to friends, family members, and you get a lot, well, he looks normal. He's fine. Look at him. He's great. And I'm like, every bite he takes,
well, even a banana, I mean, he's almost 7 and we slice up his banana.
Yeah.
Because if you just give him a regular banana, he's going to stick half the thing in his mouth.
Half the thing in his mouth. I mean, it's these things, that just add to it, and this is part of it. And, these are the things, where it's like, I do think about other families and it's like, at 7 years old, you're just allowing your kids basically the freedom to move about the kitchen and get most of what they want to eat.
And the house.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not cooking dinner at 7, but they can make lunch at 7.
Yeah.
You can go and grab lunch, right? You can do that at 7. You can pour a glass of water. You can do all of that stuff at 7. And we're, like you said, slicing bananas, watching every bite. It's sometimes when he's doing the mouth stuffing, I have to cut the crust off the pizza because it's too big and chewy. I mean, these are the things that you have to, and they go through your mind every day. Like this is, all hours of the day. It's 24/7 care. It's minute by minute. And even that's too long. It's second by second. And those are the things that weigh on the parent's mind.
Well, he's even learning to potty train. So even going to the bathroom by himself, he can't go to the bathroom by himself because then he's shooting shaving cream and doing things he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
But even with the pica, putting soap in your mouth and.
Yeah, it's, and again, this comes and go. We have not dealt with this probably for maybe almost a year, to this level.
The pica?
At this level.
Right.
Now it's to a 10. It is back full on. And I was going to talk about this at the top of the show, but I mean, this is definitely, I have called this the summer of regression. Without a doubt. We have gone backwards in a lot of ways. It's been very tough. I would say it all started the week after school stopped. I mean, we were back to some really tough stuff. I mean, I'll spare some of the specifics, but yeah, we took some steps back at the beginning of this summer. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. And as great as our string of progressions were, and I would say probably late winter, early spring. We were shocked at some stuff that was happening. We were like, this is fantastic.
It's like we were just going. And then it was like a halt, which he's still progressing in his communication. The amount of words he says is incredible from when we started this journey. But geez, I mean, we've dealt with a lot this summer.
It's been a tiring summer. Very stressful, with some of that stuff. And like you said, it's interesting. And you have to say this because I know we get so many messages and emails that people who are new to this. So I kind of I don't want to scare people. Also, at the same time, it does us no good to just make it all up like everything's great, you know? So yes, he has come so far with like vocabulary and stuff, and that stuff has stayed, you know, the words and especially the sentences now. But as fast as that went on was as quick as some of the regressions went backwards. It's a tug of war. It's almost like the body's like, okay, now we're doing all this and we're doing great, but I got to bring some of this other stuff back.
Well, and as far as regression goes, I mean, with his autism, and I say his because every kid is different.
Mm-hmm.
Every person's different.
That's the tough thing about this is you see so many common traits in other disabilities, very common traits in other disabilities. With autism, you go talk to a neurologist or any kind of specialist, they'll say, I can't tell you about, you know, your specific child's path. I just can't because we don't know. It's going to continue to present itself, and then it's going to continue to change. You know,
it is really amazing. Like the day he was diagnosed, like what they told me and what I'm experiencing. And and some of it, I didn't experience it till way later. And I have no idea what's ahead.
What do you mean? Like they got it right or?
No, they're just like, basically, this is his diagnosis. We recommend 10 to 20 hours of ABA therapy. We also recommend speech. Those are the two main therapies that he needs,
mm-hmm.
and occupational therapy, whatever. And then and then they said, once you get into school, if you have any issues, let us know. But school is a whole different story. And I didn't understand at 3 years old that when he turned 5, like crap was about to hit the fan, you know?
Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah, and it's every time.
It was awful. Like I had no idea what we were going to deal with.
Every time you say that, like crap was going to hit the fan, and I'm like, she means crap was going to hit the fan, and it did. It did.
Well, I don't want to say the bad word.
No, you can't say that word. But I'm just going to say, yeah. I mean, but that's like people just use that as a saying. I'm like, no, like that actually happened a few times.
Well, that literally, yeah.
Yes,
too.
it literally happened. Like whenever I hear people say that, you know, because like people always say that at work, like they'll get an email from their boss, like, oh my gosh, it's going to hit the fan. And I'm like, actually, I live in a home where sometimes it really does hit the fan. Like, I don't need an email from your boss for that to happen.
That's
it just
funny.
happens. You know?
I wasn't even thinking about that when I said it, but I feel awful for these parents on these autism pages that
it's so
are
hard.
showing that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, geez. But anyways, as far as like school and stuff, like IEPs and being an advocate and all that stuff, I didn't know that was going to need to happen.
Yeah. And it never ends. You know, that's what I'm trying to tell people. You don't get used to it because there's nothing to get used to. It always changes. Yeah. I mean, it just, think about that. Like you can't get used to it because there's nothing to get used to. It's always changing. It's always changing.
Well, and you're very good with all your research and stuff. I was way more hopeful and stuff. And with his progression, I all of a sudden, like this summer was like, oh my gosh, everything's back.
Yeah.
You know, and when I was talking about his autism is so behavioral related.
Yes.
And some people don't experience that at all.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was messaging, you know, over the past week. I was traveling, so I was trying to go through my LinkedIn messages. And, you know, people are like, my child has no behavioral issues at all. Perfect. But nonverbal. Like, can't talk at all. Can't even make a sound. And I'm like, I don't know that. I mean, I know obviously about the nonverbal, but like can't even make a sound or doesn't make a sound, can make a sound, but doesn't make a sound. But zero behavioral issues, just happy, quiet, you know, mostly still. And I mean, it's just all of these different things, you know, it's so tough on the parents. I mean, I remember when we started these podcasts, you know, and that's how this all started. And then you started doing all the Facebook videos on our Facebook channel. I thought, I mean, I couldn't find anybody consistently doing content for these parents. And I mean, we were, you know, sad and mad and frustrated and confused and tired. And I'm like, I don't know, we'll just do this stuff. We'll create this content and we'll see if there's people out there that need or want to hear it and then talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
So much of it is about the conversation. And I say it all the time because it was us. You know, right now there's a mom and a dad, a young couple, and they've had a baby, and there's a baby in the crib right now, and they have no idea what's going to happen in a year. They have no idea what's coming.
Because you couldn't even see it.
You can't even. There's nothing to detect at those ages. Nothing. And that husband and wife have great jobs. They're excited. They've just bought their first house. They're driving the cars they want to drive. They're living the life they want to live. They're going out 2-3 nights a week to happy hour. They're taking vacations because their in-laws are watching the kids. And they have no idea what's coming.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying, I mean, it's just the facts. You can look at the CDC, it's 1 in 36. I mean, it's happening right now. There's a baby in a crib and it's happening. They're looking at the baby on the monitor and they're so happy and everything's great and it's coming. And someone's going to lose a job and they're going to lose income, and somebody's going to get upset with their parents or their in-laws because they're going to say something stupid because they don't know.
Right.
And then there's going to be a fallout and then you're going to lose some friends because people just, I don't know, people are weird about it. We did get invited to one 4th of July party, but we couldn't go, because that's just not an environment for Cal.
And we don't have a babysitter.
Yeah.
We don't always have a babysitter.
Yeah,
We're very particular with who watches him.
You have to be because all the stuff, that we've been talking about. So, that's kind of the motivation for doing this. It really was the kind of thing where, and we're very social people. I mean, I used to love to get on airplanes and go to conventions and concerts and all just events, and stuff. And I'd go out 4 or 5 nights a week, and just social and do stuff. And you were the same way.
Yeah.
And we just were never people that just wanted to sit at home and be still. I never watch TV. I think it's boring to just sit there and stare at somebody talking. I'm like, why am I doing this? And now it's like, you just have to change your life. You have to just change how it looks. And it's really interesting. I'll say one thing. It really helps to have a place to go and just listen, and maybe it sparks something in your mind. And so that's why we really did this, because that's how it was for me. I was searching for that. Where can I go and listen to? I just want to hear a mom and dad talk about this. And I don't want to hear how great it is. I did not want to hear that. Right. I wanted to hear the in the dirt stuff, crawling in the, I wanted to hear what I'm going through.
Like crap hits the fan.
Yes. Yes. I don't do the beautiful, amazing. No, I can't. That's just me. I don't want to pretend. A lot of people like to pretend, and that's fine. And there's big audiences for pretending, but for me, it's like, no, I want to listen and be insulated with what I'm dealing with in reality, hour by hour. Because I think that's how you actually, A, get used to it, and B, maybe figure out how to make it better for your child. I'm trying to make it better for him. Everything. I want life to be better for him. Less upset, less confused, less sad. I'm like that stuff to me isn't beautiful. I don't think we're lucky to watch him go through that.
I think obviously, it's because it's a struggle.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we love him and we're tremendously lucky to have him, but now we have an obligation to make it better for him, his life, his happiness. We want to increase his happiness. So anyway, that's why we do all this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's why therapies are important. And I said, I didn't start thinking about global developmental delay until this last year. And it's because I have to categorize autism and then global developmental delay. And I have to separate because all the autism stuff is behavior related.
Yes.
And then the global developmental delay is he is delayed half his age, so I just have to separate it.
Yeah. It's a lot. And every parent parents are dealing with it. Because like we said, there's not one thing or two things. It's constantly, changing. I want to get to, even though we're past 4th of July, to talk about how we did, how many parents out there were doing it. It is a top 3 concern a part of the year, 4th of July. I mean, I've seen all this research, all these studies, parents worry about it for obvious reasons. Real quick, Angel Sense. This is assistive technology for autism and special needs kids. GPS technology, real-time tracking, and it's so much more than that. Go to dailyautism.com and click on Angel Sense. They have a watch now. We use the device. These devices are totally free. There is a monthly subscription. You can literally have real-time communication with your child. You can see where they are. You can set first responder alerts. It is incredible. And I got to tell you, I was going to talk about this as a separate piece of content, but this has been the summer of eloping. Then these stories are not ending well. I mean, for some reason, the eloping to the water all over the country has gotten out of control.
Wow.
And I wake up, and I get so many messages from people, and I love it. But the last month has been really dark stuff with these kids. And again, that's what Angel Sense does. Go to dailyautism.com, click on the Angel Sense button. Also, Aeroflow Urology, you may qualify for free diapers. It takes 2 minutes to fill out the form on dailyautism.com and just click the Aeroflow Urology button. They're also delivered to your door for free, so no more diaper runs. And as we've talked about earlier today, so many of these kids, potty training is not possible till much later in life, and sometimes not at all. So see if you can qualify for those free diapers. I mean, have you seen the price of a pack of diapers? It's insane.
It is insane.
It is insane. How are people living like that? It's unbelievable. So see if you can qualify for these free diapers delivered to your door. Aeroflow Urology, again, dailyautism.com. Click on the Aeroflow Urology button. Also, the Lift Academy, and as we were talking about school coming back, they are ready to go for their second year in Clearwater, Florida. 95% of their students, 95% are on a scholarship, and they can help you get there, help you navigate that process. It is the Taj Mahal. They offer so much to the neurodiverse community. So dailyautism.com and click on the Lift Academy button. And please talk to them about the scholarships and how you can get so much covered. It is a great experience. All right, let's talk about 4th of July. And we have had, I would say this was probably one of your scarier moments in the past 4th of July. And like I said, now that we're past 4th of July, I feel like you feel a little bit of relief.
Yes.
Yeah.
So 4 years ago, right after an autism diagnosis, I still wanted to be a part of everything. I didn't know that autism was really going to change our life, like I just was like, okay, we got this,
Yep.
And then it got very hard. But I took Cal out to see fireworks. I don't think he had headphones on then, but
No,
I pulled him in his wagon, and he instantly, I could see the fear on his face, and he just shut down. And so I knew I had to go home. So I went home, and Cal's verbal, and he did not talk the rest of the night. And I literally thought he became nonverbal just because of that.
I remember that. I think it was one of those things where you see it and you go, did I just change my kid's life for the worse? Like for his future?
It was terrifying.
Yeah. And when you hear these stories, and it's very true that a lot of people have a moment, when the child maybe was 2 or 3, something happened, a reaction to something. And there's a lot of different reactions to different things, And when that happened, I said, is this our moment? Was that the moment? And this was like a loud boom, and he literally, it was like you just unplugged a device. I mean, he just powered down. It was very scary. He
had tunnel vision on the way home. It literally just shut down. But there was so much going on then, and I didn't understand autism at the time and overstimulation, and I didn't even realize he needed headphones then.
No, honestly, I think we thought the other way of maybe if we go out in that environment where things are bright and loud and there's people, that he might be like, oh, this is cool. Look at this. No, we had no idea. That was not the environment for him.
Well, I really thought that he would like the lights.
Sure.
Yeah. So for years, we just stayed inside our house. Just stayed inside, put the TV on loud, didn't even really talk about it. But this year, his therapist started talking about it a lot because he has had progression. We were like, if he wants to do it, then we'll do it. So he was asking for fireworks, and we did it. And he wore headphones, and I held his hand, and
yeah, it was a limited dose 4th of July, but it was first off, we were outside, which was incredible, right? And it was interesting because we were in the pool during the day, and now 4th of July, first off, is not just the 4th of July. It's the week of and the week after. It's crazy what people are spending on fireworks. People don't also light fireworks off at 2 in the afternoon. Now,
you can't even see it. It's ridiculous.
2 o'clock in the afternoon, Gulf Coast of Florida, the sun is blazing. You can't see. I don't know what they're doing. It's just the noise. But he started to hear that while we were in the pool, and then he wanted to go inside a couple times.
Yep.
And I think we were definitely thinking, this is terrible because this is nothing compared to what's coming tonight.
But his anxiety was very bad, which means his pica was bad.
Yeah, it's all a domino effect. One goes, they all go. And so, yeah, we were doing that. And but we went outside, and our one neighbor was setting fireworks off. And he had a very tame show, which was very cool. You know what I mean? He's got younger kids. He wasn't doing the crazy stuff, but it was just good enough. You know what I mean? But then, of course, the neighborhood and then the beaches, because the tourists come, they had the max 10 stuff. They were. I mean, the mortars. I mean, it was like, it sounded like a battleground. And like you said, I mean, Cal was flapping, clapping, he was making noise. He did try to take the headphones off once, and then he put them right back on. So that didn't last long.
It was cool to see him. I mean, obviously when he's flapping, he's excited. But when he started clapping, and he was like, yeah. Like, that was really cool.
Yeah, and so we were outside, what do you think, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. 20 minutes, and he's seeing a variety of stuff and designs and the different colors and the sounds and the shapes, all of it. So that was cool because he was, kind of consuming different things.
And coming from every direction.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So it was almost like, and then I thought that might be the end of it because it was like, it wasn't one set direction to look in. It was here and there and over there and down there and up there. And, but that really kept him, he almost liked being surprised by it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And we didn't stay for the grand finale or anything. And when we took him in, he didn't throw a fit.
No. And so we went inside and I thought so then, they do the Macy's fireworks show, and they do the fireworks shows from all these different cities across the country, and it was great. So we put that on the TV, but then we opened up the curtain so he could still see the ones outside. So he was kind of getting both. Like, he was watching the TV, and they, of course, were big and awesome, but then he could look out and hear and kind of feel the outside fireworks. So it was like a good way to kind of go inside, but not totally end the night, because you could tell he was still interested in what was going on. But the lead up to that, like you said, and we've had to do this, honestly, we've had to do this with Halloween, with Christmas, going back to school, changing routines, really anything and everything was stair-stepping this thing until the day. And like you said, about a week and a half, the therapist started talking about 4th of July, looking at videos of fireworks, explaining what a firework is, that you can't get close to it. It has a loud boom. You know what I mean? All of this stuff. And you can't just do it once.
No.
It's not like coaching a young athlete and you're like, run this route. The ball will be here, catch it and go. That's it. Here's the route. You understand? Yeah, good. Go do it. This is like a thing. You got to find a comfort level. You're searching for the comfort level within the child, within the kid. That's not a one and done. Like, you've got to, that's hard work.
Well, and that moment of him like really liking it makes me so happy and feels like we've come so far. But one thing I'm learning to work on right now is not to get ahead of myself, because just because he liked it this year does not mean he's going to like it next year.
I mean, yeah. And so, even like I said, 4th of July is gone, but this weekend, next week, we could still get more fireworks because people just tend to do that all summer. And he might have a total meltdown. He might just... no, but you got to celebrate the time, the instance,
right,
that he was capable of enjoying it. And like I always said, if you've done something once, you can do it again because you've already done it. You can do it again. It might be easier. It also might be harder for different, situations and environments. But the fact that he did it, he enjoyed it somewhere. I mean, I always say somewhere in that brain, he's tucked away that memory of 4th of July. He was out there with mom and dad, and Barkley, our dog, was out there. Of course, our other kids, they're older now, so they take off. They go, they're all with their friends running around. But he's going to have that memory of, that was fun. That was great. I had a good time. That was fun. And hopefully that will soothe, another situation that might be a little scary or something, different. So I don't know. I always say, I think your brain just stores these little things, and then you can go back and check it out when you need to.
And one thing for him is we just avoid crowds. Like, he's not into it. Like, he doesn't want to go to a 4th of July party. He doesn't want to be with a bunch of people watching fireworks.
Yeah. And, honestly, I think with the eloping and these kids, I mean, we say it all the time, they turn into cheetahs so fast they can just take off. The crowds, for me, it's a net negative. It's just, I just don't have an interest in being around thousands of people where, I mean, autism or not, easy for a young child to get lost, kind of get disoriented. But for him, I mean, it's just what would be going on there that would outweigh the risk? Nothing. So yeah, nothing.
And one thing also with him is I always respect when he says, I want to go home.
Yeah.
Because I was told if you don't, like, then they'll stop asking, which means they will stop speaking possibly.
Could be. Or the kind of watered down version of that is they'll stop telling you what they want and how they feel. And I mean, that's that's what we've worked so hard. Think about all the times we've said, Cal, look at me. Tell me how you feel. Are you sad? Or remember we used to start out with the little cards, the picture cards.
Yeah.
A sad face, an angry face, a happy face, a confused face, a tired face. And so when he would, start going through the meltdowns, we'd have to take out the cards and say, Cal, how are you feeling? And he would take the card and pick it up and show it to us. And I mean, we had to go through it. So what I'm trying to explain to like other dads and parents is you've worked so hard to do all that stuff. When you're somewhere and your child says something, you have to let them know that they're heard, or they'll just go, well, they don't care. They're not listening. I'm not going to, so I'll stop, And it's interesting because that's what I see. This is some of the vitriol on social media and the hate and the anger. It's crazy. Is you'll see videos of people going, oh, they had this kid and the kid was crying and demanded to leave and go home. And so what did the parents do? They put all their food in a box and they went home. That's what's wrong with America. You're giving in to kids. And I'm going, wait a minute. That's what's wrong with America? I mean, give me a break. You have no idea what was going on there. You have no idea. But you hear it a lot. You hear it a lot. But the reality is, if you listen to specialists and the doctors and everybody, if this child is going through something in a public place and they're asking to leave, to be honest, the right and healthy thing is to do that, is to show them that you are listening, you care about how they feel, and you're going to try to make it better for them. Then they'll have more trust. And I'm talking about autistic kids. I'm not talking about, if you have a 7-year-old who's, having a bad day. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, my dad would walk me outside and say, what's going on?
Right.
What are you doing? What's going on? That's different. That's different. But, when you're talking about special needs and things like that, that's why it's called special needs. They have a special need. And in that situation, the right thing to do is to let them know that you care, you're listening, and you're trying to help them through this process. So it is much different. But, the stuff you hear about and you see and the stories of people, saying those things. And like you said, you're doing those things so that the kids have trust not only in themselves, like, hey, I could keep voicing my opinion and my emotions, but also so that they'll know that you're going to listen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have two things real quick. One, we've worked on like his feelings and stuff. So now when he's about to have a meltdown, he will say, Cal is getting so angry.
Mm-hmm.
Like he says that.
Yeah. You want a predictor. You want them to give you a warning because you need it. Yeah, he will. Cal is getting so angry.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's also adding things in now. Cal is getting so angry, I'm going to destroy this house.
Yes, he is.
And that's, that's
you're like, okay.
Yeah, it's not good, but I think what he's trying to get to us there is I'm getting really angry, and because I'm getting angry, I'm about to do something about it, right? So it's some cause and effect. This is making me angry, and here's what I'm going to do about it. And listen, yes, if you're, 6 years old and you're saying that stuff, you're going to take your kid and you're going to have a strong sit down. Right? And you're going to explain how you don't threaten to do that. This and that. It's totally different with this. You can't approach it that way.
No, it's different parenting.
It's different parenting. And it's, honestly, it's customized parenting. You have to customize the process. I grew up in the rub dirt in it. The old saying, just rub dirt in it. You go out and you play football, baseball, you'd get hurt, and your parents say, just rub some dirt in it, you'll be fine. That's generally, you can't do that with these kids. That's not how this works. That'll actually make it worse. You'll be pouring gas all over that fire.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's just so many different things to do, but that's a good thing. Parents hear that, parents of like typical kids, they hear that and they're like, gosh, your kid's saying he's mad, he's going to destroy the house. And I'm like, yeah, I'm happy he's voicing his emotions. I need to know what he's feeling. He's explaining that to me. We've worked years to get here.
Years.
I know it's kind of like you've worked years to get here. And I go, yeah, I know. It doesn't seem like we're anywhere, but trust me, to us and our family and him, we're moving mountains, man. It's a weird mountain to move. I get it. It's a strange mountain, but
well, it is good to have the warning though, because he tells the other kids.
Absolutely. And the other part about it is too, and I think this is where like AI is going to come in the future, is then you're going to be able to start detecting what is causing that. Why are some meltdowns quicker than others? Why are some more severe and extended than others? What is going on? And I mean, I'm doing research now with AI. I mean, everything from diet to barometric pressure. I mean, it's so many things. So many things. The speed at which people enter the home, whether they're announced or not announced. You know, he's got multiple therapists, and when they pull up in the car, I'll say, Cal, Miss Kristen is here. And he'll jump up and go, Miss Kristen is here. She's bringing a game. You know, that for him seems to work well, as opposed to Miss Kristen just tearing through the door with games.
Right.
Right? Like
Right.
for him, that's just, because I've seen it the other way. I've seen these therapists just show up and he goes, no, 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 no. And he'll put his hand up and he'll run.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I needed to get used to what was happening, you know, and these kids need that.
Yeah. The heads up.
Yeah. They need the heads up.
The other thing I was going to say is you were traveling last week and I didn't work, so I don't know why, but something in me was like, okay, we can try this. So I took the kids to a donut shop, which if I probably would have told you ahead of time, you would have been like, don't do that.
Yes, I would have. I absolutely would have done that.
Why would you do that?
Actually, I want to say right now, don't do that again. Don't. Well,
No,
I
it was
just get
good.
nervous. I get, I get nervous. It's just, yeah.
No. The other kids were home and I was off, so I decided to take him. He has not been in a restaurant setting in over a year because it was just getting too bad.
Yeah.
But this place is small, so
And to all you restaurants nearby, you're welcome. You're welcome. We've tried our best, but there are times we realize that the other customers were just staring at us. We're like, we got to go. We got to go.
Well, I come prepared. So I brought his Play-Doh, I brought his iPad, whatever. So we walk in. It's small. There's not a lot of people there. He holds my hand, waits in line. We sit down. All the kids have a donut. He was doing really well. Then it kept getting crowded. Like there was more and more people coming in.
You can feel it, right? Building as the crowd grows. Like,
Yes.
Like the anxiety, you can just feel it.
So the whole point of this story is probably 10 minutes in, he said, I need to go home. And I said, okay.
Yeah.
So we packed up and half the kids like weren't finished eating and I threw it in the box and we left.
Wow. Yeah, I was out of the country. I was in Central America, and so it's the first time I've ever left for an extended period of time. And I, I'm with him during the day. You're running your salon business, and you're at your studio a lot. And what I realized is that I'm really here with him much more than I thought, and I'm helping him much more than I thought. Like just the day-to-day stuff. So many times the therapists call my name, they need my help, or he'll ask me to come see him and talk to him. Sometimes he's done something with his therapist and he wants me to see it. They've created something and he wants to show and explain it to me.
Yeah.
It's always 15 minutes before I need to jump on a Zoom call or something. And the therapist's like, Mark, come here. Cal wants to show you what he did. And I'm like, great. I'm so happy to do it. But it's anyway, my point was I kind of got a little anxiety leaving. I was like, I don't even know if Melissa realizes how much I do every day. Like it's, like there's just a lot that I'm involved in and I just didn't even realize. So I got a little nervous not being here and I was scared. I was like, I need to be there because they need me, And so, yeah, you sent me that picture, which was great because it was already done. And so I didn't feel bad because everything was fine. Had it been like, we're going to do this, I'd have been freaking out.
Well, for a moment, were you like, why did she do this?
More than a moment, but yeah. Yeah. Time is racing by. We got to thank Begin Health, prebiotics for toddlers and kids. Prebiotics. You have to look at this for your ASD kids. Grab our discount at dailyautism.com. Again, Begin Health, the growing up prebiotics. Also, our friends at Krabby Bills, the original Krabby Bills. They are autism awareness supporters. Indian Rocks Beach, Florida. Great happy hour, live music every day. And I got to tell you, the oysters, they are the best. Wherever you are in the world, the original Krabby Bills, Indian Rocks Beach, Florida, definitely check them out. Also, our friends at Fun Factory Sensory Gym, see their YouTube videos from dailyautism.com. They were the masterminds of our sensory studio in Pinellas County, my sensory studio, which, you can reach out to us if you're interested in a private sensory play setting. Also, our friends at the Tampa Tarpons in Tampa, Florida, the Cure Mark Sensory Suite. Awesome spot for a family to go enjoy a game. And for your young autistic kids, a great place, a safe place to be while the family's enjoying a baseball game. So, like I said, we're past 4th of July, so we made it. We hope everybody out there made it. dailyautism.com is how you get a hold of us. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the links are right there. Would love for you to sign up for our LinkedIn newsletter. And also, what am I forgetting? Autismtext.com is also how you can sign up to get texts for all of our information, our research, and just basically creating that community of people. It's been great to do that. All right, great show. We made it past 4th of July. I'll give you some knuckles. We did it. On to the rest of the summer. We'll see you online. Again, connect with us any of those social channels at dailyautism.com.